Howdy folks, been a while. I'm just under the MegaCab here, preparing for some modifications. No, not modifications like a lot of people think there, but so basically what I'm doing here is removing the bed and checking out, because I couldn't find really too much info online about what all was involved with that, but basically what it looks like is that there's, at least as far as I can tell, there might be one other pair of bolts, but there's one pair at the very rear of the pickup, holding it on from underneath, and then on that first cross member, bed cross member, then the next one coming towards the front of the pickup, there's another pair, and then looks like it skips the next two bed cross members, so the ones that are right above where the factory gooseneck hitch would be, or fifth wheel hitch, and then it comes right to the back for this very most forward cross member mount on here. And this one looks like it's just that bolt right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to in a minute just start loosening these, get all 6 of those out. So once again, it's one right here, and then the 2 actual bed cross members on the way forward, so they're easy to see. But those ones up front, you got to have a long extension to get up in there, because they're not like this one where it's more accessible. This one actually might be more difficult to get to than the other ones, because the other ones are straight shot up, and this one you might, might be a little bit more difficult, this most forward one. So anyway, so I'm going to pull those off, then I'm going to pull the rear bumper off, as well as the tailgate, get the tailgate off of there. And so I'll kind of run you guys through that. I mean, not that it's rocket science or by any stretch of the imagination, but here, I'll just show you. And again, why we're pulling the bed is that other bed's going on. So yeah, super excited. Gonna basically pull this guy off, leave the short box over here at the house, and then put the DRW gooseneck hitch on, and then try to trailer everything out in one load out to the shop that the guy's gonna cut this thing in half with at. So yeah, there's no, on this cross member, there's not looks like any type of bolt holding it on. So, and then here's the rear 2 bed cross members. Kind of hard seeing it under here, but one is right here, and right up inside this hole, there's one of your bed bolts. And then moving to the back bumper, right up inside of that hole, if I can even get some light in there, there we go, is your other bed bolt. So as far as I can tell, those are my only bed bolts, so there should be 6 of them. Maybe on a long box there's probably 8, but that's what I can tell so far. And then I'm gonna get this rear bumper off of here, disconnect all the wiring, and like I said, the tailgate as well. Got to get the tailgate wiring unplugged from above, and I believe that's pretty easy. I've never done it, but I would assume it wouldn't make you crawl under here if you got to take our tailgate off. So assuming you just come to this guy, yeah, there. So it looks like there's your connector there for your wiring on their tailgate. So I'm gonna work on that, and then I'll circle back up with you with any issues and tools that I used. Catch you in a little bit. And we're back. So basically, I've pulled out both rear bed bolts, so the one in the very back of the bed, and then going towards the cab, the next one. Pulled both of those out, and that's what is in there. So those, they've got some blue Loctite on them. They're not on too tight, but I did break them free by hand first. And the threaded inserts in the bed, I just didn't trust throwing an impact right on it. The last thing I want to do is strip those damn things out. So I just put a ratchet on it and loosened them, just made sure they broke free by hand pretty easily. if I had to guess, they're probably torque spec, I don't know, somewhere around 60 to 80 foot-pounds or something like that. But yeah, they came out just fine. Luckily, I can imagine though, if those are seized, this would be a bitch. And I don't know how you, I guess you'd just be, I don't even know what you'd do if you couldn't get them damn things out. I guess you just hit them until they snap, or destroy that threaded insert in the actual box. And I don't know, but anyways, so got both of those out on both sides. So I got all 4 of those out. So in theory, the rear of the bed is like ready to come off. I still got to do the ones up front towards the cab, and I think that's it. So I'll let you know if I run any more, but I think that's just 6 bed bolts. And then I've just disconnected all my wiring through the tailgate's off. It's sitting up there, so it's just the one plug on there. And that plug actually is the same plug as this one right here that runs up, and that's actually attached to the box. So I disconnected that so the box will lift right off. And then this is the coming from the I might say the cab of the truck, the factory harness for the tailgate lock and rear camera. That's this harness, so that's unplugged. And then there's a ton of other connections down here, right? So you've got all your bumper sensors. You've got that disconnecting from the main harness right here. So disconnected those. And then I'll probably, just for the bumper, just to keep it easier, I'll probably disconnect all of these off of here. And then disconnected the trailer 7-pin plug right out of the back. Both sides have the license plate lights, so you got to disconnect those. And so, I mean, you've got quite a few connections under here to disconnect. Now, I would highly recommend you pressure wash the living daylights out of this under here. I mean, again, this truck has, I don't know what it's less than 2,000 miles on it. And, you know, I do live on a dirt road, so there's some chunks of mud, but obviously these connectors can be a pain. And I can only imagine if, you know, this thing had 100K on it or something, had been out in the field, you know, on some lots of dirt and gravel type roads a lot. These harnesses and connectors could be quite a bear to get out. A lot of them have these, not all of them, but got the safety clips, so you pull up on the red piece and then basically push down on the black piece that's covered right there, and then pull on them to disconnect them. Same with this black one. So there it is again. So there's the red piece slides back towards my hand, and then you just press down on the black piece that's right there and give it a good snug tug, and it should come out. So anyways, I think I got all the wiring disconnected off the bumper, so I think it's just these 4, so 2 on each side, bolts. I haven't figured out what size those are yet, but I don't know, maybe like a 14, 15 millimeter, something like that. The bed bolts were 18s, so you need an 18 millimeter deep socket, and probably, I mean, that's what I use, a deep and a, what is that, a 10-inch type extension. And that was enough to get up in through the frame channel all the way up into there. So that's ideally what you need for an extension on these. But yeah, let me get the other forward 2 bed bolts out, drop these 2 off, get the bumper off, and let you know. And the whole reason I'm dropping the bumpers, because lifting, I want to have enough room to easily lift the box off without scratching the paint on it. So that's one reason, and that's really the main reason. So yeah, that's that. It's kind of interesting. I didn't realize these, maybe it's something on the 1-tons rather than the 3/4, but the damn hitch is literally welded into the frame. I thought that was kind of interesting. At least that's what it appears. I don't know how. I mean, it's got to be, yeah. So I mean, it's welded right into there. Unlike the Fords, right? The frame, the hitch, literally is a bolt-on application completely. And I wonder if that's the way it is on a 3/4 ton. Maybe there's a difference between the ton and the 3/4 Rams. Maybe that's a difference in the factors. The rear section of the frame, maybe it's a complete bolt-on. But that's just interesting to me. So, yeah, I guess I'm gonna keep at this here and catch up with you later. Okay, so back, and I think I got this thing completely disconnected now. So underneath the most forward two bed bolts, you are able to get to them with an impact or a really long extension. So you need something probably around 15, I mean ideally even longer than this. So if you had like, say 18 inches of extension straight without any knuckles or anything in between, that'd be perfect, because there's a little spot where you can slide that thing right up in between the frame and the I guess it's the, let's see, that would be the frame, and then I think it's just that the bracket that's welded to the frame, and that I guess the bracket under there, right? So it just can go straight up under there, so that's nice. Got the lights disconnected, the clearance lights, marker lights, whatever, on all those. Disconnect those, right? There's a connection right at the frame, which I can see if I can show it to you. So obviously there's the light, wire runs over there, and right there on the frame there's a connector on all four corners for each light. You can disconnect it there. The bumper kind of tricked me a little bit, and then I was like, so I unbolted the 4 bolts, so 2 here and 2 on the outside there, and then bumper's loose. God, these bumpers are flimsy pieces of shit. Anyways, so then there's 2 bolts behind the license plate bracket. It was like, as soon as I hit that, I was like, oh, there's something in the middle holding it, and the only place I thought that could be was behind the license plate, and sure enough. So there's 2, and these are 15 millimeter bolts. So you need a 15 and an 18 millimeter socket for this. Maybe a screwdriver for, you know, these little tabs. So literally all the tools I used to pull this thing apart was a ratchet, 15 millimeter socket. I used a little swivel on there just to kind of gain access behind the bumper, but you probably wouldn't need one, especially if you're using like, if you weren't using a half-inch drive. Little just flathead screwdriver to push the tabs in for all those clearance light ones. That was perfect. Made it real easy to disconnect all 4 of those, all the 4 of the marker clearance lights on the sides. Disconnect your wire for your 3rd brake light if you got it one down here. Then a T25 Torx. So T25 Torx for both the tail lights and the fuel necks. I used just a little microfiber there as I pulled these taillights out. These were the hardest to disconnect out of any of the connectors, on mine at least. Just could not press this tab down hard enough, so I pressed down that tab as hard as I could after I slid this red tab over right to the left, and then just used a real thin flathead screwdriver just to kind of just give it a little extra enthusiasm in there, and then I slid right out. These are your 4 screws for your taillights. They're T25s, like I said. These are your 3 screws for your fill necks, T25s. Those are just my license plate brackets, factory tabs for the license plate bracket. So license plate bolts are hardware that I used, stainless. And other than that, so once again, it's their marker lights, disconnect those, tail lights, the 6 bed bolts. I pulled the bumper just to gain some access to pull this thing back so I keep it away from the cab. And other than that, you know, that's your plug there for your tailgate. While you're, you know, it's we'll see, make sure that's it. But the fill neck, hopefully this thing's able to kind of just fall on out of there. But after you mess with or take out, let's see, yeah, these 3 bolts, this thing is just free in there. So we'll see how it is as we lift the bed off the frame here in a little bit. But I probably won't film any of that. Just, I mean, that's, I think, pretty self-explanatory. Figure out a good way to secure it and lift her on out. I've had some people that say, you know, 2x4 across under the bed rails. Some people like literally take a pallet or 2 pallets and then ratchet strap the pallets crisscross in here, so you just come in here with some pallet forks and lift them off with the pallets. Seen guys do that. You know, otherwise just the strap method, crisscross, up, down. I mean, to the front of the, I mean, you could, anyways. Yeah, lots of different ways. I think when we lifted that 8-foot box, we used 2 straps at the front going up to the top of the like pallet fork. And then just 2 in the bottom kind of coming up below, just in a crisscross pattern. But I don't know. Just kind of got to mess with it, take it slow. So other than that, hopefully this thing will come off real easy now, and I didn't miss any connections. Hopefully there's none of these little guys that are holding it on. I really don't think so, because that's connected there. That's I think I've got everything. But overall, I mean, if you were to hit this thing, you could probably disconnect everything under here in 15 minutes if you were just running and running. So anyways, with that said, get this frame off, and then I might get this thing to the frame so we can see that. And then after that, I'm going to start installing the B&W hitch under there. And yeah, that's what I'm up to here. So take it easy and catch you guys later. Howdy folks, back here again. The short box is off. Came off super easy. No real issues at all. So, and now here we have our frame, right? So just to recap, the bed bolts you're dealing with one of these, you know, there's only 6 of them, right? So anyways, there's one right here. Then the cross member of the bed rests here, here, and then you've got your 2 rear bed bolts here and here. So there's only 6 bolts actually holding the physical bed on here. Then you've got your 3 screws on your fill neck, and then you've got in the back here, you know, you've got a bunch of wiring harnesses and plugs that I've got unplugged at the moment just from the rear bumper. But this one and this plug here are the clearance and marker lights for the fenders on the dually. And let's see, other than that, it's just all the bumper wiring. So the next step here is I'm gonna throw on this B&W hitch on the plate here and get that in, and then at that point I'm gonna hook onto the trailer, and we're gonna be heading out to take this thing to go get chopped in half. So this is something I've been wanting since like 2008 when I first saw a MegaCab long bed in person. Ever since then I've wanted one, so finally getting that dream, I guess, fulfilled in a way. Hopefully it turns out well. I'm freaking nervous as shit. You know, if quality work, frame's gonna be straight, it's not gonna be crab walking on me, you know, things like that. I mean, it's just it's a big decision on something that costs a ton of money. So but if she does turn out right, I think it's just gonna be an absolute joy to drive, and you know, the functionality with the long bed is going to be amazing. So kind of my game plan is I've got the 8-foot box on the trailer over there, ready to go, and I'm got a Jeep on the back of the trailer, so I'll just leave everything there and drive the Jeep back here, and then depending on whenever it's done, let's just say 2-3 weeks, whatever, you know, I'll just drive back out with the Super Duty, and then, you know, without the 8-foot box on the trailer, I'll be able to put the Super Duty on there, and then I'll probably just put this on the trailer, because, you know, this thing's still not really broken in yet and towing that heavy of a load. But I don't know, we'll see how it does towing for the first time, actually. So this will be another first for it, is getting some towing in. But that's what's going on. We're going to have a MegaCab long bed shortly. And then after that, I've got quite a few other modifications I'd like to do. I'd like to do some custom paint work. Wheels and tires, I hate these tires. Or I hate the wheels, hate the tires, hate everything about that. So hopefully be able to do some other stuff soon with this thing. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get this B&W installed.